Welcome to LVT-SHOWBIZ, the place to get the fastest, highest quality, most interesting updates and new perspectives on Chinese entertainment. Thanks for watching LVT-SHOWBIZ. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe to stay tuned for more exciting stories from the world of Chinese celebrities. Leave your thoughts.
The streets of Paris have always carried stories of romance, mystery, and unforgettable encounters. But this time, something unexpected has captured global attention in a way few could have predicted. Reports circulating across social platforms suggest that Songyun and Songyun were allegedly seen spending a second day in the heart of the French capital, drawing quiet attention from fans who somehow managed to trace their movements despite the couple's attempts to keep a low profile. What began as simple travel sightings has now evolved into a wave of speculation, emotional reactions, and intense online discussion. Some viewers describe it as a spontaneous holiday moment between two public figures, while others believe there may be a deeper narrative unfolding behind every captured image. The streets of Paris, especially around its most iconic landmarks, have once again become the stage for a story that feels larger than life, blending reality with interpretation, observation with imagination. As whispers grow louder and short clips circulate rapidly online, audiences around the world are left asking the same question: what is really happening during this so-called second day in Paris? And why does every moment feel like a scene from a carefully written script that no one publicly admits to directing? Paris on that particular day appeared calm at first glance, with its usual flow of tourists moving between cafes, bridges, and historic streets. However, according to multiple online accounts, the atmosphere subtly shifted as small groups began to gather in specific areas where Songyun and Songyun were allegedly spotted. There were no official announcements, no public appearances, and no structured events. Yet somehow, the presence of familiar faces seemed to ripple through social media networks almost instantly. Within minutes, posts began to appear, each one adding a fragment to a growing puzzle. Some claimed to have seen them near classic Parisian viewpoints. Others mentioned brief glimpses along quieter streets away from the main tourist crowds. The details were inconsistent, yet the emotional intensity behind each post made the narrative feel alive. What makes this situation particularly fascinating is not just the presence of two well-known figures abroad, but the way modern digital communities can transform a simple sighting into a global conversation within moments. In today's world, privacy is no longer defined by intention alone, but by how quickly information travels once it enters the public sphere. As the day progressed, the atmosphere reportedly became more dynamic. Small clusters of fans, many of whom were already in Paris as tourists, began adjusting their routes in response to unverified location hints shared online. It was not a coordinated event, but rather a spontaneous wave of movement, driven by curiosity and excitement. Some accounts suggest that Songyun and Songyun maintained a composed and calm presence despite the increasing attention, occasionally acknowledging distant greetings or simply continuing their walk without interruption. There were also mentions of subtle efforts to maintain privacy, including choosing less crowded paths and avoiding predictable tourist hotspots. However, in a city as globally connected as Paris, complete anonymity is almost impossible, especially when public interest reaches a certain threshold. What unfolded was not chaos, but a delicate balance between admiration and discretion, where both sides, celebrities and observers, navigated an unspoken understanding of boundaries in shared public space. Interestingly, much of the discussion online has shifted away from simply what happened to what it means. Some viewers interpret these alleged sightings as a natural and harmless moment of travel, a brief pause in busy schedules where individuals simply enjoy the beauty of one of the world's most iconic cities. Others, however, view it through a more symbolic lens, suggesting that Paris itself, with its long-standing association with romance and emotional storytelling, amplifies even the smallest gestures into something more meaningful. The idea of two public figures walking through the same historic streets, even casually, becomes a canvas onto which audiences project their own interpretations of connection, timing, and significance. This is where modern celebrity culture becomes particularly complex, as every image, every short clip, and every anonymous account contributes to a narrative that evolves far beyond the original moment. From another perspective, Media analysts often highlight how situations like this reflect the changing nature of global fan engagement. In earlier years, celebrity sightings were limited to controlled media releases or official events. Today, however, real-time sharing has transformed every public space into a potential stage. The speed at which information spreads means that even the smallest observation can become widely discussed within minutes. In the case of Shukai and Songyun, the combination of international location, strong fan base, and emotional interest has created the perfect environment for rapid narrative expansion. Yet despite the intensity of online conversation, there remains a noticeable absence of confirmed statements, which only deepens curiosity rather than resolving it. What makes this second day in Paris particularly discussed is the emotional tone it carries across different audiences. For some, it represents admiration and excitement, a chance to see familiar figures in an elegant and cinematic setting. For others, it raises questions about boundaries, privacy, and the responsibilities of public attention. And for many, it simply feels like an unfolding story that blends reality with gentle imagination, where each update adds another layer to an ongoing narrative that no single perspective can fully define. Paris, with its timeless charm, becomes more than just a backdrop. It becomes part of the storytelling itself, shaping how every moment is perceived and remembered. As night approached, discussions online showed no sign of slowing down. Instead, they shifted into analysis, reflection, and gentle debate. Some users focused on visual details from shared images, while others discussed cultural differences in how public figures are followed and admired. A few emphasized the importance of respecting personal space, while others simply enjoyed the emotional experience of following a developing story. In many ways, the situation illustrates how modern audiences no longer consume celebrity moments passively. They participate in them, interpret them, and continuously reshape them through collective conversation. This evolving dynamic is what keeps stories like this alive long after the initial moment has passed. And as the narrative continues to circulate, one thing becomes clear: whether seen as coincidence, curiosity, or carefully interpreted symbolism, the presence of Shukai and Songyun in Paris has resonated far beyond the streets they were allegedly walking through. It has become a reflection of how stories are born in the digital age, not from single events, but from the shared attention of millions of viewers, interpreting the same fragments in different ways. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into today's unfolding story, thank you for spending your time with LVT-SHOWBIZ. Your support allows us to continue exploring the world of entertainment, culture, and the human stories behind the headlines. If you find value in this kind of storytelling, consider subscribing to our channel, as we bring you more updates, more insights, and more carefully crafted narratives from the world of Asian entertainment and beyond. Stay with us for future episodes, where every story is not just told, but experienced together.